Alright, how's it going everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going back to an old series that I have not played in a long time, the FTB Infinity series. This should be the 6th video, and the last video was posted several months ago. I've been taking a break from this series and working on other things, but I have not forgot about it, and lately I've been dying to build something in this world, so it's about time that we finally jump back into things and see where we left off. So I was doing some mining off camera a little bit to start building some things. Basically, what I want to build today is, for those of you who are not familiar with the series or maybe don't remember because it's been a long time, we're going to sleep real quick. I have a bed somewhere. But one of the last things we built was this smeltery right in front of me, and we can use it to double our ore output. So for every one, let's say iron ore or any ore really, that I mine, I could turn it into 2 ingots by putting it through the smeltery. But now I want to do that automatically so I don't have to come over here, fill this thing with lava, put all my ore in here, and then like one by one pour it out into these ingots and blocks. I want to be able to do that automatically, and we can do that with what's called a pulverizer. So a pulverizer is a machine that will essentially take any ore and then pulverize it into a powder, but for every one ore it'll make 2 pulverized versions of the same thing. So 1 iron will make 2 pulverized iron essentially, and all kinds of other pulverized ores. And then each one of those powders can be converted into 1 ingot if you smelt it. So if we make a pulverizer and then a automatic furnace or like a redstone furnace, then we can use power rather than like coal or anything to actually smelt all those powders and put them into make them into ingots, and we can transfer all them into a chest. So we could have, let's say we'll have an input chest. I don't know, whoops, I'm gonna need a chest just to drop off all this junk, to be honest. So let me put that down. We'll say, let's say I have an input chest here. I want to be able to just throw everything I just mined up in here, and then it's going to take the items from this chest and it'll put the cobblestone and stone into some kind of storage area, and then it'll take all the ores and automatically smelt them and then put those into another storage area, is essentially what I have in mind. So let's get started. The first thing I want to do is start making all of that stuff I just talked about, the pulverizer and the redstone furnace. So I'm going to have to convert a lot of this stuff into, if I try and, maybe I should try and empty out everything out of this thing, the gold and the bronze, so that we don't have, this is another problem. Oh shoot. Okay, there are enough ingots. I'm going to do that off camera. But what another problem we have with the smeltery is if I combine certain ores in here that are going to form alloys, it'll automatically form an alloy. Like I think silver and gold together make a whole different metal, so I won't be getting my silver back or my gold back. I have to be careful about what I pour out, essentially. So I'm going to go ahead and empty this thing out so we can smelt the rest of these ores, but the big thing we were missing was redstone to make this pulverizer, so it shouldn't be too big a deal once I get the redstone out. And we'll be right back. All right, I've been smelting a bunch of those ores, but if you look in this chest, we have like over a stack of iron ore and a bunch of tin, and you could tell like it's definitely time to just get an automatic way of doing this, because it's very time consuming for me to sit there, smelt it all one by one and pour it all out. So that just goes to show how bad we really need this thing. So I went ahead and crafted this basic machine frame, which I'll show you guys how it's made. It's basically iron and glass, and then a tin gear is just iron and tin together, so that's pretty easy. You can see there's different tiers of the machine frame that'll basically make the machine better, but we're just going to start out with the basic one with a basic machine frame. Next, we're going to need this redstone reception coil, which is pretty easy to get. And then we're going to need 2 copper gears, pretty simple. And then a piston. We can make one of those, and I already grabbed some flint in my inventory, so that should give us our very first pulverizer, which is pretty sweet. Now we still need the furnace, so let's see what it takes to make one of those. Not that furnace, the redstone furnace. So we're going to need a machine frame again. We'll start with the 10 gear, and then, whoops, we're going to need some bricks. Let me see if I have any of those laying around. I have clay, which is good. I don't know if I've cooked up any of the clay yet. Probably not. Yeah, that's fine. We'll go ahead and cook some of it up here. That way we can make it in a second, and I'll start crafting everything else we need. So we still need the rest of the machine frame, which I need to find some glass. I have some glass right here. Boom. Basic machine frame, boom. Okay, that's good. And then we need another redstone reception coil and 2 more copper gears. Whoops. Oh my goodness. This is very tedious. Okay, we're running low on copper. I'm pretty sure I have more copper ore though that we can cook up. Yeah, there's 22 right here. So I'll go ahead and get that smelting. What is this, more lead? Yeah, more lead. And then I have aluminum in there. I don't know if I don't think aluminum and copper together will mix, but we might as well empty out all the aluminum before I go ahead and start cooking all the copper. That should be all of the aluminum. Yeah, it emptied out. We'll get 2 blocks right there. Perfect. Okay, where was I? Let's check out the bricks here. It might be another minute. Yeah, we still need 2 more of those. So another thing is we're going to have to power this redstone furnace and this pulverizer. So we're going to need some kind of generator to do that. Thankfully, this mod pack has extra utilities, which makes it really easy to make some basic generators. We have the survivalist, the furnace, and these basically just take out like normal things that you would power a normal furnace with, like coal or wood. So this is probably what we're going to start with, is going to be one of these. And then they have fancier generators that we could use, like one that uses nether stars. They have one that uses lava, ender, and other mod packs also use these generators too. Other mod packs also have their own generators, I mean. Other ways to make power, but we need to start out with something simple. So let me look into the survivalist generator. Is pretty easy. We could definitely make that right now. The furnace generator is probably a little bit better than that. It's not really giving me the stats on them, but we'll go ahead and make the furnace generator. So for that one, we need 1 furnace, a block of iron, and then 5 iron ingots. That's pretty easy. Let's go ahead and make... I hear a zombie sneaking up behind us. Man, combat used to be so simple in Minecraft before you had to time your swings. I miss those days. All right, go ahead and start pouring out some of that copper. And I'm going to go ahead and plop a bed down inside here so we can just run in here whenever we need. Okay, sounds like there's a zombie under the house, honestly. Which is really weird because I put torches all over the place in here, I thought. Yeah, this whole place is lit up. I don't know how that happened, but whatever. Not that important. Back to what we were doing. So, probably have enough brick now to make our redstone furnace. So, let's see here. Yeah, we have everything we need. So, there's the pulverizer, redstone furnace. Now we just need a generator, which I have everything for that too. Perfect. So these are the basic equipment items that we need that we're going to have to plop down somewhere. Let's go ahead and do that. I think I'm going to go ahead and set all this up inside this room. And I'm actually not going to put them directly against the wall. I'm going to put them off the wall a little bit to leave some room for piping. And then I'm going to configure all this to be just blank on every side for now. So basically this configuration is telling me like what sides of the furnace do I want to take items in and take items out. And then there's extra options for this pulverizer because you can see it'll have an input here and then it'll have a main output, and then every once in a while it'll have a secondary output. So you can set it so that just the secondary output maybe goes out the back while the main output goes to the right. So you can see, I mean, you can't see the right here because I have this furnace in the way, but you can see the red stuff. So this is going to come out to the right, and then the secondary stuff is going to come out the back, which is not exactly how I want it to be, but that's a good example. I definitely want the red going out to the right. And then we'll switch this to be on intake right here. Perfect. And then I don't know where I want the items to be outputting quite yet. So what I'm thinking is we want to take items in from the back here. And we're going to need to start making some item ducts here. Let's see. Item duct, thermal dynamics, 10. Ooh, I don't know if I want those. Yeah, this is going to be easier to make. So we'll make just 12 of them, just the most basic ones. They're opaque, so we can't see the items in there, but making infused let's see, where was the typical item duct? Yeah, making fuse quartz is probably not something we're in the market for at this stage in the game. So 12 should be plenty for now. And then we're going to need these servos and filters for sure. It's going to be a big deal. So basically the servo, oh, where'd it go? What are we missing? We're just missing the, oh my goodness. We're missing the iron ingots. Why is it making the Thaumcraft ones? Okay, whatever. Should still work. So the servo is going to take... Okay, let me demonstrate this really quickly. So basically, I can have an item duct here, and I can connect it to another chest over here, let's say. And that means these two chests are connected by this item duct. But since there's nothing configuring this item duct to do anything, then it's not going to move these items here. But if I throw on a servo right on the output of this, change this to high, blacklist, whitelist. No, blacklist. It's going to start slowly taking items out of this chest and moving them to the first inventory available on the item duct. So you'll see four at a time, items are slowly going to move in here. It's not exactly what we want, but I'm just showing you guys the basics of how this thing works. And then another thing is we're going to want to make a wrench, right? Or is it a crescent hammer? The crescent hammer. Yeah. This should make things easier to pick up. So now we could just shift click on all these items made in thermodynamics and I don't have to mine them with the pick. And it's much quicker. Okay. All right, very good. So I'll put my stone and stuff back in here, or out of there for now. So basically we want the item ducts to be running behind this guy and this guy. And then this one, since I have it set to take in items from the back, now it's going to, let's do this for now. Now it's going to, whoops, that's really interesting. You could rotate chests. Anyway, since I have a servo here and I have this configured to take in items from the back, if I put in an ore, it's going to take the ore out of the chest eventually. Oh, do I need to put, let's see, item ducts. A retriever. Man, that would be so lame if I have to do a retriever. No, definitely don't have to do a retriever. What about a filter? Filter, let's see. Need some paper. All right, I ran out of iron there, but I went ahead and got some paper. I'll put the rest of my sugarcane away, and we should be able to make a filter. Okay, these item ducts are a little finicky. You know, sometimes you gotta mess around with them a little bit. So, all right, so it's still not pulling the silver out and putting it in here. I think if I put a chest directly on it, let's try that. Let's say I put a chest on the top here, and then I set the top to, oh, that's the problem. It took in some stone that were in the item ducts. Okay, now it's going to take the silver ore. That makes sense. Okay. Anyway, so I guess we didn't need the filters after all. So we'll have to be careful for now. So right now, anything I put in this chest is going to go into the pulverizer. So if I put in something like stone, that's going to be a problem because we only want ores to go in here. So that's going to be sorted out with the filter. Only problem with this filter is that this basic filter can only filter 3 items, and we have a lot more than 3 items that need to get sorted. The next tier would be Invar, which was iron and nickel together. Molten Invar. So let's see if I have any ferrous or nickel. I don't think so. I would highly doubt it. That stuff is a little bit harder to find. So that's going to be important moving forward, but I'm not going to worry about it too much for now. Okay. There's other ways to get around that. So for now, we'll have it so anything goes out. Oh, I could take off this filter because it's not going to do anything for us for now. And my inventory is getting full. Okay. So once we power this thing, it should take our ore from this chest, put it in the pulverizer, and the pulverizer is going to spit out anything in this red slot, all the main outputs, into the redstone furnace. Now we just need the redstone furnace to do something with its items. So we could just set it, you know, a chest on the side, and then set it to output like so. Now the only problem is that we need power for these guys, and we have items going in the back. So how about we do something like this instead? We'll do the power goes to the back, and I'll just set the chest to the side for now. Cool. So now we don't need any of the item ducts. This is temporary. Remember, we got to set this up a little bit better moving forward. But basically, I can set a furnace down. Oops. There we go. We can set a furnace down, let's say right here, and then now we need some flux duct, right? This is going to give us, leadstone flux duct will help us transfer power. So if I just connect it all like that, then whenever I put any kind of fuel in this furnace generator, like coal for example, which I should have right here, it's just going to start generating power and transfer it to everything within the system. So I'll go ahead and give it a lot. You'll see no powers forming in the generator because it's going to prioritize loading these guys up with power first. So now that they have some power, this is doing 40 RF per tick. How much do these use? Maximum is 40 RF per tick and 20 RF per tick. So we're going to need a little bit more than just one for these to run at full speed, but that's okay. For now, we're going to go ahead and try it out at whatever speed we can get. So if I put in the silver ore here, will this thing pull it in? Automated output. Yeah, that's what I thought. So the basic tier pulverizer, unless you give it a special upgrade, it cannot actually how do I say this? It cannot automatically pull items in. It can only automatically spit items out. So we got to figure out how I want to do this whole chest system then. So I could do it like this. Let's just set a temporary block here. And then I'll just have one item duct. And then I'll set this to take in from the top. We'll put some tin up there, and then it's still gonna need probably a servo. And then we just gotta change this to say ignore redstone signal. I don't like that wood block there. Okay, not bad, not bad. Could also put a cobblestone. I don't know. We'll figure out some fancy looking block. Maybe one of those cobblestone pieces. I think I have those over here. But the whole system should be working kind of like we intended at this point. Get out of here, spider. So let's go ahead and take a look. So the 10 ore is getting pulverized here. And then it's automatically spitting pulverized tin into the redstone furnace and putting in tin over here, which is perfect. You could already see we put in 11 tin ore and it's doubling what we're putting in. So we should get 22 total once all of it's done. We're already at 18, so we know that it's working properly. And that should be a very basic setup for automatic ore processing. Only problem with this system is that we have to be careful. There's two problems. We can only put ores into this chest. If we put other things into this chest, it's going to mess it up. And then another problem is that we don't have any way of handling secondary items here. So what I mean by that is certain ores will have a secondary output that they do on a certain chance. Let's see if the silver ore has it. Yeah, so 10% chance it'll put out pulverized lead. Pulverized lead would be fine to put over here, but not all of them are things that can be smelted like a pulverized lead. Sometimes it'll be an item that can't be smelted, like a piece of slag or some weird stuff like that. So that's definitely going to take a little bit of tinkering around. We can set this up in the future. Maybe in the next episode we can start upgrading the system. I would like to make it so that, say we have some storage barrels or chests down here on this side of the house, that anything I put in here, like if I put in cobblestone in here, it'll know to put cobblestone into a storage barrel over here. And then all the ore will go into the pulverizer. But this is a really great start. We'll have to watch it a little bit, but for the most part, I could just throw in any ore that needs to be processed into this chest, and we should get the ingots out on the other side doubled. So let's do some more silver. Might as well just throw it all in there, right? Pretty much. And yeah, well, I think that's going to do it for today's episode. I don't have much more time to keep working on this. So I thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.